Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros MLB. This is Leading Off Live, brought to you by Bet365. Bet $5, get 150 in bonus bets when you do, but you have to use the promo code Leading Off. That's the thing you have to do. And look at me. I'm back, everybody. I'm Mr. Meekseeks. And that, of course, is the Welsh. And Scott Bogman was here doing a great job yesterday filling in for me. Had to take mom to the doctor's office. She's getting ready to get her eyes done, not plastic surgery. She's getting cataracts and things going on. Welsh, I appreciate you holding down the fort. I did watch the prospect stuff yesterday. Amazing work with the AA guys. Look at you, the deep dive prospect man. Who's better than you, Welsh? Because I can't think of anyone.
Well, I can think of many, but maybe in some respects, I might stand up there. Thank you very much. It's good. Look at how joyous and excited. Give Joe one day off and he comes back and he's like, you did a good job. You did a good job. I love you.
I love the Peanuts. I love the Cracker Jacks. I love them all. I love everybody. I was telling Welsh, I watched something hilarious last night. It was this movie called A Disturbance in the Force, which is a documentary about the making of the Star Wars holiday special, which aired in, I think, 1978 or something. And it is the most bizarre, hilarious thing. I sent it to you. You got to watch this thing. It's hysterical. It's a Star Wars special with the Wookiee family celebrating something called Life Day. And it's got all the original people in it eventually making cameos. But it was done by all these weird 70s, like, you know, the people who did the Carol Burnett show and Cher show and all these like wacky, you know, everybody had a variety show in the 70s. By the way, I wish it was the 70s so you and I could have a variety show and do singing and dancing stuff here on the program. But holy crap, was it hilarious. And B. Arthur's in it. And she's like the bartender at the cantina and like all these weird, like Harvey Korman. And it's so weird. I can't imagine what kind of drugs.
It was like their original Endgame, or you know, it was like these are all the cameos that everybody wanted in the Star Wars. Does that mean B. Arthur? I guess it wasn't B. Arthur, like herself, the character B. Arthur in Star Wars, because then B. Arthur would exist in the Star Wars universe.
Well, I don't know if it's canon, but all I know is it was amazing. And so I don't know if you can consider it canon or not, because apparently then like there's all these little things in like the Mandalorian like referring to it. Referring to like this holiday special and the wretchedness like cult following, and it aired one time, so apparently it was like this thing in the geek community where everyone had to like share VHS tapes. There were copies of copies.
Do you guys see what happens when Joe gets a day off? This is insane. What has happened to you?
I don't know.
You get a day off, you're all happy. You're just like, let me tell you about this crazy Star Wars special.
It's been a long 2 weeks around these parts. Let me just tell you. But let's get to something that's gonna make me even happier. Elly De La Cruz. It's Ellie's world, Welsh, and we're just living in it. Yesterday, 4 for 4, 4 steals. They get a W over the Dodgers, the best team in baseball. And just for context, Elly De La Cruz has 30 stolen bases now in 44 games. It is the 17th of May. He has almost twice as many as the second guy, which is Jose Caballero. Bryce Terang has 16. They're both at 16 and 17 respectively. But oh my God, 9 homers, 22 RBI. He's hitting 277, but the OPS is just under 900. It's right there. Elly De La Cruz might still strike out a little bit, but Welsh, I don't know if there's a guy that's more fun to watch. And in terms of fantasy return on investment right now, he has been that dude.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of stuff that's kind of packed in there. First, would love for us to pull that clip in like, what was it, February or early March, Joe, where I'm like, hey, you know what my favorite bet is? Steals. I keep saying that. But what has been impressive, and this is impressive when you look at it, we've really been hyper-focused on like the inconsistencies that are going to exist with Elly, but the strikeouts are down. He's almost under 30%, which is massive. The stolen bases are going to be a chalk piece of his game, but the hitting profile continues to be great. He has still maintained that 13% barrel rate. He has an expected batting average in the 260s. He's got double-digit walk rate. And for all that it's worth, I did do the show I mentioned on the show yesterday. I spent about 40 minutes with Eno Saris on ITL talking about a lot of the procedural stuff about the new bat tracking and what you can use and blah, blah, blah. So if people want to check that out, it was a really interesting conversation. What's applicable is tough, but at the end of the day, bat speed is always kind of king. 75 miles per hour. He's on the high end. He's on the, I think from a percentile perspective, top 12% in the league, Elly is. So you've got quick, fast bat. You're hitting the ball harder. You're barreling. The marriage between barrels and bat speed, I think, is really important. He's found that. He's striking out less. Yeah, man. Like if you were a hater of Elly, you're wrong. If you question some of the stuff, like I might have questioned some of it, kind of wrong, because he's a first round player in any format at this point. He's absolutely exciting. And, like if you don't have shares, it kind of stinks for you in some capacity. I only have one or two in some DCs over on the NFBC.
I have him for $2 in my home keeper league this year. Two. Because I picked him up last year at the beginning of the year and stashed him.
Do you think this pace, I think that's the biggest question, or do you think like this version, looking at the date here, 6 weeks, this 6 weeks version is the Elly at the end of the year? Like, do you think we're going to see a 260 batting average? It's going to be like 80 stolen bases. Like, what is the line?
That's a fascinating question. Look, there's going to be a slump in there at some point. That's just the nature of the beast. But even with the slump, I mean, the stolen base pace that he's on right now, I mean, how amazing would it be if he could reach 100 stolen bases this year? I mean, that's like Ricky Henderson level kind of stuff that,
he went for 5 last night, by the way. He went for 5. It was a perfect throw that got him out, and he would have been Booker T. He'd have been like 5 times. He would have been 5 times stolen bases.
But it's the environment. It's the rules changes that have allowed this to happen. The lack of the art form of holding runners on, again, going back to the art form of pitching, and making sure that you get Elly De La Cruz out is important, because once he gets on the bases, it's a double or a triple. And I think that's something you've got to take into account. It's nearly like a run scored. And that's the other thing too, is like what his run scored total could be. Could you imagine what this lineup would be if Matt McClain was healthy, right? Like think about that too. I think about Christian Encarnacion Strand has been a disappointment, and then he's on the IL. This lineup is not 100%. So I do think there will be struggles, to answer your question. I also do believe that at some point too, when you get some of these other pieces back or right, man, the Reds are going to be really dangerous. The Reds feel like they could be a playoff team, but it's, again, the pitching's gotta be more consistent.
They got to buy, and they've got to make some buys. Put up Bizarrizagizza. Put up his comment. Do this game. What do you think the predictive line for the year is? Because one of the most important things to me for some of these players is that they don't fall into the trap of being a wasteland for a month. That's the thing where, like, you have a guy who is great for 3 months, bad for 2, and then people call, oh, it's a huge win. And it's like, well, if this guy was almost borderline droppable, that doesn't help. Elly's finding consistency in these stolen bases. Even if he hits 220, he's going to get on base and steal like crazy. So 259 or 257, 29 homers, 108 steals, 112 runs from Bizarrizagizza. 122 runs.
Of all these numbers, 122 is what I like the most, to be honest with you.
You know what?
I think all of this is pretty reasonable. I would trim down the stolen bases to like 102, because I think when he's getting closer there, I think it's going to be a thing. You know, I remember a couple years ago when Pete Alonso was a rookie, and he was very aware of the home run record. He's very aware of these things. The milestone of 100 stolen bases, I think, is something that players are hyper aware of. I think Elly knows, and he knows that right now he is on a pace to crush that, and that's a very exciting thing to
I'll tell you this.
Go ahead.
Elly will have more stolen bases than RBI at the end of the year. I think he's going to push.
Will he have more stolen bases than teams this year?
Yeah, I think he's going to have like 85 stolen bases. I think it's going to be in the 20s on homers. He's going to score 100-something runs, and he'll probably have like, 75 RBI with 85 stolen bases. It's gonna be a
post-game interview after too, which was amazing. The post-game interview, he was like, "Yeah, I like LA. I played a lot of Grand Theft Auto when I was a kid." I thought that was tremendous.
Elly is very uniquely awesome,
and I love that he had worked on the English too. So because he wanted to do the interviews, he wanted to connect with the fans and stuff like that. Like that's just amazing. Like I like to think if I got sent to the Mexican League of Podcasting, right, that I would be working very hard on my Spanish, and I would be making every attempt to not host the show in English and make sure that that's a very important part of the connectivity of the audience.
What would be, hey,
by the way, I could be optioned any. I don't know. That's a good question.
Like, hola.
Can one of our Spanish-speaking folks here in the chat let me know what the equivalent of
I'll
AO
do the Google
is?
Translate. Let's see.
I'm sure that'll work. All right, let's talk about Paul Skenes, because we haven't talked about him in like 10 minutes. Paul Skenes, I told Walsh before the show, I feel I'm getting Skenes fatigue already. I'm like 2 starts into this thing, and I'm a little skened out. Another start today. It's another day start too, which I don't love. Some guys just don't play well in the daytime also, just, for whatever reason. But here we go. We're back again. It's the same. It's the back-to-back start too against the Cubs, which is another thing where, sometimes that second time around, that team, you're only facing that same team twice. So preview, if you will, a little bit of the Paul Skenes 2.0 today.
I'm a little bit worried about like exactly what you're saying. By the way, I looked at the Google Translate and it said, hey tu. But I also saw
Hey, tu.
yo hola.
Hey, tu.
I think yo hola would make a lot
I
more
don't get
sense.
the hey yo anymore. They made me stop doing that. The old head
really?
of things didn't like that. So I haven't done a hey yo in a long time. That's like 2021 last time I hey yo'd.
Hey yo.
Maybe Puppet Joe can get away with it.
Puppet
Maybe.
Show definitely did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you missed that, by the way, there's a clip on the YouTube channel of just the Puppet Joe, the best of Puppet Joe moments, which shout out to Welsh and Tyler to put that together. It's tremendous. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check that out. But back to Paul Skenes.
Yeah. So I'm very interested to see like how the pitch mix ends up working. Another interesting thing, when I was talking with Eno, we actually kind of just dove into Jared Jones and into Paul Skenes, because in that first start, the thing I still haven't got out of my brain was he was like heavy fastball in those first 2 innings, and the guys were just way behind it. Then all of a sudden, they started to try to go splinker slider on 2-strike counts. Grandal, I felt like they were. I don't know if it was getting cute and maybe it was masking the worry that guys were going to start catching up to the fastball. I'm not 100% sure, but I felt like he started being a little bit less effective. So your second start, you're going back to the team, back to the players that have seen you. Ian Happ, a pretty good high strike hitter. You know, they just had Jared Jones. Like, I don't know if I love his strikeout prop today. It's like 6.5, and it's like, I can't go either way.
I agree. I went this morning when I put the show together. It's immediately where I went to. I go, okay, what's the Skenes number? I'm thinking like 5.5. It was 6.5. I was like, no. And if anything, the under is intriguing because I think you get plus money on the under.
Yeah, no, of course you do, but it's like I can't do that. So
but that's not a great investment either, because we all know how electric Skenes can be.
It don't
stay away from me today
unless there's an approach change as far as what they're going to do with the pitch mix. Maybe go really heavy fastballs. My gut tells me we're not going to go 5 again. I think you're going to have more secondary sitting. They're going to probably sit on some more secondary stuff, and it might be real heavy fastball looks in this. So maybe the walks are going to be, it's going to go like he's going to strike out 10, or I think this is going to be a little bit rougher than the last one. I just don't think he's going to go 5. But again, this is all sample size. We just don't know quite enough about it. It's the early game, so it's going to happen here pretty soon. But I'm not touching any of the props or anything like that, because going up against the same team again, not the best. But I didn't even see this. Bizarriza said no Horner, no Swanson, no Suzuki today. So that actually does bode. Skenes did get Suzuki a couple times, though, but that bodes relatively well. So we'll see. We'll see on Skenes. I think it's going to be a much better time to process who he's going to be after we've got like 2 or 3 starts in it. But I do 100% feel the craziness is gone from Skenes. The height, like I know you said you're sick of talking about.
I'm not sick of talking about. I'm fatigued. There's a difference.
But I think traders
did have a day off yesterday, so maybe I would be sick of it. But I'm not. I'm just fatigued.
But we talked about like, what can you get for Skenes and blah 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 blah, and it's just like I think that there's a fatigue to it right now. That
my guns about that though. That if the peak Skenes value this year was Friday before his debut. You could have probably, I mean, the packages you could have put together of Paul Skenes are people salivating over what it could be. And it's not that he's not going to be amazing and have amazing moments. I think he will. And people I see in the chat asking, Skenes or Jones. It's Jones. Jones has already proven now he's consistently great. Skenes has got to prove that at this level. Still, I don't care what he did at AAA. It's fantastic. It's fabulous. We're all excited. Jones has done it at the major league level for 6 weeks. That's impressive to me. Tyler Glasnow was less impressive. 8 strikeouts, but 4 runs over 5 innings. Lost to the Reds. We talked about that. Edwin Diaz blew another save. Okay, everybody, here we go.
Reed Garrett.
So here we go. He's terrible. Get rid of this guy. He's no good. He's a bum. He was hurt last year, and now he comes in and he's blowing all these saves. It's unbelievable. Look, I'm not worried about Edwin Diaz. To me, he's a buy low. And the biggest other buy low out there has got to be Acuna. Acuna right now, I wrote about this on FantasyPros.com. You can go check that out in the latest buy low, sell high, because Acuna is down to 245. Slugging is at 342. The home run rate is atrocious. Everything right now is just bad for Acuna. This is your window to buy greatness. Ronald Acuna is going to be fine the rest of the season. Collectively, the Braves have struggled. Olsen, Riley will get hot. Albie's missed time at the beginning of the year with an injury. It's only a matter of time. And I am not worried at all about Acuna. I think this is your only window all season to buy him in leagues, but come correct. Like, you're going to have to go and put out a really strong player. And think about it too. You know, the all around greatness of Ronald Acuna, Welsh, to me, you would trade a Freddie Freeman right now, despite the fact that Freeman's average is high and all that stuff, for Ronald Acuna if you could pull that off. And my reasoning is you're getting every category with Acuna where you're still, I don't think you're going to, I said it going into the year, I don't think you're going to get Freddie Freeman to steal as many bases as he did last year. I think that was a little bit of an anomaly. He's another year older. But what do you think? Is this the only window to buy Acuna? Because I think it is.
Yeah, the only window maybe like in a long period of time. Yeah. It's interesting because we talked about it yesterday, the whole like detox, get a day off. When you start to look at underlying stuff, there's clearly one thing that stands out. It's the strikeouts. Like he was 11% last year. He's almost 25% this year. The hard hit numbers are still there, but they're not at like his usual elite level. But because of these things, you see kind of like the decline in barrel percentage, decline in like, expected batting average that's sticking there. Not to keep harping on this, but like one of the things that Eno and I talked about was if we had year-over-year data about bat speed and the bat length and all that, and watch it, Joe. If we had the year-over-year data, it would be really fascinating because when you look at Acuna, he's got one of the fastest swings in baseball, but the length of his swing is bigger than like the MLB average. Calm yourself down. So what I'm getting at is like,
what's the MLB average?
7.3.
That's pretty good size.
That's pretty good.
MLB average.
It's very intimidating. But my point with it is like, this might be one of those things where you could tell, because he's like 73 percentile of bat speed is a consistency of going 75 miles an hour over. My point is having a predictability. Maybe his swing has gotten long because the longer the swing, sometimes it can indicate, trying to lift the ball, get the ball in the air. So if you see an increase in strikeouts and if he's added length to the swing while still swinging really hard, that might be creating some of the pressing. Yeah, I'm talking theory here with Acuna. Of course, I'm buying Acuna in any respect right now. But let me ask you this. If you were offered Elly De La Cruz for your Ronald Acuna, would you accept?
It's funny. In my home league, I have both because I acquired
let's say this
year.
Yeah, you have
Elly for Glass now, and the guy's been laughing at me. My friend's been laughing at me all year. He's like, boy, you suck. I was like, yeah, well, this is my window to buy the position player.
You have Elly, and you want Acuna, and the guy says, all right, I will do it. I want Elly De La Cruz for Acuna. Dynasty or redraft?
In redraft, I think I would still want Acuna. In Dynasty, that's a bigger conversation because
it's not.
At least what? It's not. You still go to Acuna right away.
I'm still going Acuna.
I think it's a little bit of a pause for me, but it's why is it not? Well, I mean I'm probably Acuna anyway because MVPs don't grow on trees. But
yeah, I would remind everybody too if we think that there's like some adjustment that's happening. Ronald Acuna in the preseason, I talked about this with our dev team here at Fantasy Pros. I had to explain that what Ronald Acuna did last year was at the level of what Shohei Ohtani does in that he performed like 2 first-round players and won. Like he was so uniquely incredible. Now, to be fair, I suppose Elly is kind of like getting his way up there.
But Elly is right now showing you he has the ability to put up Acuna's numbers from last year sans batting average.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why
I'm kind of interesting.
I am trying to be a little bit fair about
more stolen bases, which is terrifying because we're like, oh my God, 70 steals for Acuna. This guy's got 30 already.
And he might hit like 25 homers
at the moment.
And he might hit 25 homers. But don't let 6 weeks change that Ronald Acuna is still a freak, and performed not just like really good in 2 or 3 categories, but like as the number 1 overall fantasy player. So I would take Acuna on both fronts, but I get the redraft one. I actually think is like, that's the one I might consider. Dynasty, hell no. Acuna.
All right. Was a trade yesterday. The Pirates traded away Ronzi Contreras to the Angels, who once upon a time was a top 100 prospect. Should we care about this trade?
We should not. No.
Okay. All right. Joey Loperfido got his first home run. Congratulations, buddy. That's the rookie lookie for today. Also, Jackson Holiday, remember him? 2 for 5 with a solo homer. things are going a little bit better for Jackson Holiday.
I know what you're
That's a
looking
big
for.
positive.
I know what you're looking
Oh
for.
boy! Oh,
Hey!
hey guys, I told you eventually things would go really well for me. It's just a matter of time, everybody. Just be patient.
I'll be back.
Patience. I'll be back. He's so adorable. Kobe Mayo also, by the way, exited for precautionary reasons with an undisclosed injury. So we'll keep an eye on that one because we're all very excited about Kobe Mayo. 3 up and 3 down. Christian Javier, 8 Ks in 6 shutout innings. Jared Jones, another great one for him. 3 earned runs, but struck out 7. So we'll take that to the bank. Clark Schmidt, Welsh's favorites. 8 strikeouts for him, a career high. 8 scoreless innings against the Twinkies. 3 down. Joey Estes, 8 earned runs against the Astros. Justin Steele, friend of the show, allowed 6 hits, 5 earned. So he's still working his way back a little bit, obviously. And Joe Ryan, not the best start, 4 earned, 5 1/3, but again was a Yankee, so I'll give him a pass.
One thing I wanted to add to it real quick, because I got to cheat a little bit and I feel bad. On the show yesterday, one of the bets I said was alt line. You could alt line Jared Jones' strikeouts to 8+. Well, when I went to make my bet, I found it at 7+, and it was plus money because the 8+ was like 200, and I found like plus 135 at 7+. So I took the 7+. He didn't hit 8, but I still cashed, and I feel bad, and I hope people would do the same. I hope you did the same if you did bet that, because he literally, by the way, 91 pitches, 7 strikeouts. Had he not been on that pitch count, could have gone deeper. Any other starting pitcher and probably gets to the 8, but I still cashed and I feel bad. We also had yesterday.
Never apologize for cashing.
No, I didn't. But we were talking about omens and like bad luck and stuff like that. And I caused some bad luck by dropping some baseballs, and those players are bad luck. And then I put my bets under your name, and then I went, oh no. This is going to be bad luck. And guess what? It was bad luck. I think they all didn't hit because they were under your name. So someone asked earlier, how did the omen go? It was a bad omen. It was
bad juju, man. Eric Powell, if Elly steals 100 and has 25 homers, the Elly hype next year, is going to be insane. Imagine if he's 3,100. Is Elly the number 1 pick next year?
Might be
3,100. That's crazy. And not RBI, steals.
I didn't hear what you said. If he had 30 homers,
100 player. Has that ever happened? Because back when Ricky was stealing 100, he didn't hit 30 homers. That was the Oakland days. It wasn't until he got to the Yankees and then the second turn in Oakland where the special vitamins were rampant in the clubhouse. A little wacky for him.
Weren't the most homer stolen bases? Wasn't it like when Canseco did 40-40? Wasn't that like the most homers stolen base? Like most stolen bases?
I don't know.
With
That's
most
a good question. Here we go. Chat. What is the greatest home run RBI run total with stolen bases at the top of it? That's a good question there. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Last year we had Acuna, right? 70 steals. He was 100. What was the homer total last year for Acuna? I can't remember off the top of my head.
29. I'm gonna go look. Oh, I'm on him right now. 41. I forgot he hit 41. Jesus.
Yeah,
that was all right. So that might be it.
That might be it.
Yeah, there you go. We found it. It's pretty easy. So he got 40 homers and had 73 stolen bases. Jesus.
Yeah, but again, we're talking about the home run, RBI, stolen base total, and more than 30 home runs. That's the tricky thing. It's the more than 30 home runs that have the power to do it too. It's wild.
Acuna literally did this like 6 months ago, and we're like, should we trade Elly to
Acuna? But it feels more like a Willie Mays kind of stat, or or something like that. But hey, that's crazy. All right, injuries. Jorge Soler is going to play another minor league game. Trey Turner went through all his agility drills, so that's fun. So he's working out for the combine. Jeffrey Springs, remember him, Welsh? Live batting practice yesterday. That's exciting. The Angels activated Luis Rengifo off the 10-day IL. Shane Baz, 1 run over 3 1/3 rehab start yesterday. And Emmett Sheehan, we'll see you soon, buddy. Tommy John surgery. So there you go. Emmett's going to be done. So again, the only thing that can undo all of that money for the Dodgers, I'll say it a million times, is pitching. It's absolutely pitching. Dan saying Eric Davis. Now, I remember Eric Davis had some great seasons, but I want to say the elite Eric Davis seasons of stolen bases all had like 20 home run years. It wasn't like 30-something. Strawberry had 30 years and all that, but I'm talking a guy going over 50 stolen bases and hitting 30 home runs. That does not happen very often. How it happened last year? But
I think like before last year, Canseco was in like this small little. I don't even remember who the 40-40 group was. So
and
he's a cheater.
I do remember there's one other thing we got to do today, And of course, it's the best bets
of the day
with Joey and the Welsh. Make sure you place your wagers over at bet365. Bet $5. Get 150 in bonus bets when you use the promo code leading off over at bet365. 21 or over in Kentucky. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. Terms and conditions apply. Welsh, today it's a fun Friday here on the program. You've got some wagers. I've got some wagers. I'm going to start with Zach Wheeler on the mound to bounce back against the Washington Nationals. He's at home. Give me the Phillies on the run line, -1.5 at -115. Freddie P is back. My boy Freddie Peralta against the Houston Astros. And I know the Astros have a lot of good hitters, but still, I'm team Freddie P. Everybody knows that. So give me Milwaukee on the money line, MILML. That's right, -110. I like this number here today for Freddie Peralta to stymie, an underutilized word, to stymie the Houston Astros lineup today. Freddie P's got big time strikeout upside too, but that prop is very high and the Astros don't strike out a lot. So I'm going to fade away from that one. Just go for the money line straight up there. And Elly De La Cruz, hey, when in Rome, Welsh, how about the over on 0.5 stolen bases at +180 today? Why not? Why wouldn't we do it after 4 last night? The guy is locked in. He is incredible. And if you put the Elly to steal a base along with to score a run in a same game parlay, you get +293. That's almost 3-1, Welsh, on Elly De La Cruz, who's red hot. All the puns intended. Welsh, what do you have for the people for best bets of the day?
You got me inspired. Opening day, one of my favorite bets, by the way, I called it cruise control. I remember that. It was the Elly over 1 stolen base and O'Neal Cruz to hit a home run. I might travel back to that one today because I do like some O'Neal, even if you want to play with the total bases. But those are not my bets. I'm going to a K prop to start us off here. Christian Scott over 5.5 strikeouts today. Got it around -111. Might see it at like 115 at worst. He has had 6 strikeouts in both of his starts, going up against the Marlins, whose K percentage in general looks a little bit better, but the team has been, and against righties, they got one of the highest chase rates in all of baseball. And I've loved everything that Christian Scott has done. He's been going 6. He commands. I think he's going to eat these guys up today. So
I pretty good odds with this one. This was my original 4 or 5 that I was considering. So I'm with you on this one.
Yeah, this is one of my top 2 or like my 1A, 1B of favorite bets today. This is the one I'm putting out as my best bet of the day because I think there's going to be a lot of focus on Paul Skenes and his strikeout number. But give me Christian Scott. Christian Scott is going to be one of those unheralded guys when we talk about Paul Skenes and the awesome rookies. Don't forget, Christian Scott is a dude. So that really high chase rate on the Marlins makes me feel pretty comfortable about him. You mentioned this one. Yankees, give me the run line on the Yankees today. I'll take that all day long with Nestor Cortez, -1.5 up against Clevy. Thank you very much, Yankees. Also, algorithm scores have almost over a 2-run differential between these teams. So let the Yankees eat and let Nestor do the same. You mentioned Freddie Peralta. For my 5th bet, I'm going to join you in a money line bet, but it's not going to be the whole game. First 5. Give me the first 5-inning money line for the Milwaukee Brewers at -125.
I know.
I did get kind of like, I'm like, oh, well, and why I love it so much is because if the game is tied, my bet pushes. -125, not too far off from full game numbers. So I'm backing Freddie Peralta, first 5 money line, -125. Bet365 is some of the best odds out there. Go and check it out. Bettingpros.com/Joe, bettingpros.com/Welsh. So you can follow us. You can see the bets, anything else that we add as well. So go and do that today.
And those are the best bets of the day. Make sure you download the app and, of course, use that promo code Bet365 to sign up today with the promo code leading off when you do. All right, Welsh, it's time now to look for the home runs. And I see someone in the chat already said something that I'm already in on. So, yeah, no spoiler alerts today. Judge is hot. And Judge owns Clevenger, and that's where I'm going all weekend. Everybody's in on this one. Come join me. Let's all take Aaron Judge together, and that's what I'm going to do. Welsh, I wasn't here yesterday. My home run call of J.D. Martinez, though, did not hit. So to look at the home run board, this is what it looks like right now. I'm still at 14. We'll get Welsh on. He's so close. He's in double digits. So close. But still, Pazzi's at the top of the leaderboard. But look at Vlad like, oh, man, this is crazy. Look at this home run board. This is nuts. I love the face he's making in this. It's very good.
I'm sure that's what he's saying.
It is. Don't forget to join our Discord, fantasypros.com/chat. That gentleman gave me 2 home runs the other day. Adley Rutschman. It's free. It's fun. Go make your home run calls. We're going to give away that Vlad Guerrero autograph bat. Welsh, where are you going this weekend? I'm going with the judge. Where are you going this weekend for your home run?
By the way, also go to the Discord. I had somebody like DM me on Instagram, like, how do I get in the home run contest? Discord. Get over to the Discord right now.
Oh,
yeah, so
come on.
FantasyPros.com/chat.
Discord.
You can start doing those. O'Neal Cruz, as I said, O'Neal Cruz is my bet for the day. Going to go for a big fly, not a big BVP average, but I'm feeling O'Neal Cruz. I'm going to bet his total bases, I think, over. Usually I like to do that when I have my home run calls. So give me O'Neal Cruz to get me on the board, and I might play that cruise control bet as well and join you with Elly. I bet that's going to pay pretty well.
And there you have it, everybody. Don't forget, if you enjoy the shows, and I know you do, subscribe to Fantasy Pros MLB. Drop your comments below. The waiver wire videos out. The trade videos out this week. The rookie stuff is out there in case you missed that stuff as well. The prospecting with the Welsh. Everything is here on the channel for you. And if you drop your comments below, you just might win this championship fantasy belt from Trophy Smack. We're going to give this bad boy away. It's going to be fantastic. I'd like to do this on Monday. That's what I'd like to do, give it away. So this is your opportunity to be a part of the channel. Welsh, great time. Again, another special shout out to Scott Bogman filling in for me. And might have to do that in a few weeks again, but it's good. It's good to get a little detox, as people like to say, for me. I need that too. Everybody needs a breather.
You and Acuna.
In the words of, the immortal wrestling words of many a great booker, how can I miss you if you don't go away? With that being said, we're going to go away for the weekend, but we'll be back on Monday to do it all again. That'll do it for us, but the story of the game goes on. For the Welsh, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids. Enjoy your weekend. Happy baseball. Go. Peace.